Hello, Voltron fans, and welcome back to another episode of the AFTERBUZZ TV Voltron Legendary Defender After Show. Today we're covering episodes 2 and 3, Some Assembly Required, and Return of the Gladiator. We'll see you after the opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Let's get together.
Opening music chosen by your Black Lion because I have a terrible sense of humor.
So we have a series of team building exercises prepared for tonight's show, right?
I love, oh my god.
And montage.
Unless you guys want to get up and do trust falls, no.
No, I'm the type of person that falls forward. Just to shake it up.
You're a terrible human being.
I
Like,
am.
you just break your nose because it's funny?
I'm a martial artist. You guys know you have to tuck and roll.
That's
You
true.
gotta do
Yeah,
that.
but dang, that's a terrible thing to do to the person that you're. Good lord,
This is
remind
why
me
I'm
of-
the blue line.
Yeah,
Lance
it
would do
kind
that.
of is. I don't know. After seeing how trust falls work in The Simpsons as a kid, I was like, yeah, no, I never want to do that.
Never do that.
I don't want to do that.
Ever again.
I have done trust falls successfully in my life, and I have done trust falls unsuccessfully in my life because some people are assholes.
Wow. But also correct.
Yeah,
Fact.
no. There's a reason they're called trust falls, and some people don't deserve to be trusted.
Oh, snap.
Fact. Fact.
Somebody just throwing that fact stamp.
Yep. Anyway, welcome back to the after show. We are having a grand old time talking about giant robot lions that become a giant robot human and beat the hell out of other giant robots. It's wonderful. With me is Blue Lion Alexis Torres.
Yeah. I was about to say the record. Alexis the Record Torres with the blue lion.
Different giant robots.
Guys, it's been a day.
We do so many of these.
Yeah, I know. You can find me for all shenanigans and my brain, apparently, at atorres890.
Green Lion Megan Salinas.
AKA also Lord Megantron. You can tweet at me
Yeah.
at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
And I am Black Lion and also Kia Prime because I run these things.
Yes, I do.
intently.
The Decepticons are on this side today.
Yeah, God help me. God help me. We're supposed to be a team, and
I don't know
that's the
what you're talking
wrong
about.
show.
Sorry.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We are down a red lion today. Emma is out in her little shack in the desert communing with the wilderness. She's actually watching the Kenshin premiere, and we're all really jealous.
So
We're
jelly.
super jealous. And guys,
She asked us to tell you that.
and not only that, but she wants the world to know that this movie is amazing.
Oh my God,
So
I'm so excited.
when you get the
Obligatory
chance.
plug.
Well, no, I want to go see it.
I wanna see it
loved
too.
Kenshin. I mean, we're here talking about Voltron. Like anime and anime-influenced shows are awesome.
And
I want to make
that's-
sure it's a Kenshin movie and not a Samurai X movie because that's a very different
Those are two different
experience.
things.
they're two
Yeah.
very different things, but they're both awesome.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't say
and
that.
great
One of them
action
has a level of
sequences.
violence I can handle from real people, and one of them is like, and there goes the head, goodbye. Anyway,
Doesn't bother me.
we can't seem
And?
to start this show without talking about other anime first, and I know it occasionally just really throws people.
Yes, it
Get
does.
through our Steven Universe panel. That was fun. That was Evangelion.
Really?
Oh my god, yep. So
Anyway,
we have
this show.
Bring it
2
back.
episodes. We have Some Assembly Required, which is actually one of my favorites.
It's
And
great.
we have Return of the Gladiator. So going into Trust Falls, the episode, I just, oh my god, this episode is wonderful.
Now,
And you can see why I took a long time getting to like Lance.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just like, can
clearly.
you stop?
he definitely had a lot of issues to work through. Now, this episode, at least talking about episode 2 in particular, I was a little bit kind of wary going into this episode because out of all of the episodes in this season, this is the one that felt the most obligatory. It's like, okay, this is where they're gonna learn how to become a team. And for anybody who watches a show like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know that a lot of times when you bring in a new team and they have to learn how to work together, that takes time. It
It's
takes
the Trust Fall
time.
episode.
Yeah, and it takes a long time to establish a groove as a team. And that can be very compelling television, but me personally, I always find it way more interesting when the team is already formed and working together and they're already in sync. And then maybe as a flashback episode, like, oh, how they came together or how they learned to work together, things like that. That being said, for an episode that had to hit those specific beats, this was done like pitch perfectly.
Yeah.
This was so
I thought it was
much
it was a good mesh of like, okay, we can tell that these guys are not a team yet, but at the same time, you know, when things happen, they'll just click.
Yeah.
Which definitely happened.
Survival
this episode.
instincts will only take you so far.
Yeah.
Real quick, because I keep forgetting this at the opening. I'm real good at my job, you guys. We have a hashtag, ABTV Voltron. Use that on Twitter. We have a live chat going on right now. If you are in the live chat or in the hashtag, have something to say, have any questions, throw them in there. You may well get a shout out. Yes. The food fight, you guys.
Best freaking thing ever, even though I totally felt with Princess Allura where I was like, yeah, Pidge, shut up.
That was
Just that everything starts escalating, and then Koran saying, you will not speak to the princess that way. And I wrote it down because I was just like, holy, the princess of what? We're the only ones out here, and you're no princess of ours. It's like, whoa.
I was just like,
Boy, it's almost like her planet's gone.
Yeah, that's
Like,
it. That's the other thing.
Yeah, exactly.
For everybody, they've left their home and everything like that, but Earth is still intact. Their families back home, for those with families, are still down there and still fine.
and I understand.
Althea's gone.
And yeah, I'm like, I was agreeing with what Megan said earlier before the show started. It was like, she woke up to her, like, the last thing she remembers from her planet was it was on fire.
It was on fire, and her dad was saying, "I'm sorry."
And then she wakes up
I'll
and Dad
fix it,
is
I promise.
and Dad is dead and evidently an AI, and her planet and its entire solar system, because we're Zarkon and we believe in overkill, is just.
I mean, especially when we got to see, I mean, that's referring back to the first episode where we got to see what Zarkon has actually conquered. It was like more than half of the universe. I was like, what's happening? But at the same time, I was like, I understand, Pidge, you're going through a hard time. I get that. You
That's
know?
very
That's
true.
fine.
Pidge
But
is
Wow,
dealing
just
with
hit
Pidge's
that
own
button.
personal
Like,
problems.
bam.
yeah, but I'm like, come on, guys. Like, bring it back in. Everybody is suffering. Just a little bit. I know that you're also in a weird spot, and I want to give you a hug, but dear God.
Yeah, clearly, because
Pidge
Pidge had
just
that.
doesn't give a damn.
Well, Pidge
No,
had
at
that
all.
little freak out during the team building exercises. Pidge had that little freak out, and then this dinner scene comes right afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're like, okay, I get you're stressed, I get you're frustrated, but that was a really messed up thing to say.
This
Yeah,
is the third time that Hunk has been screwing around in her private areas, and it's just like, Hunk, get out.
Just, it was...
You said it. You said her.
We're talking
yeah.
about
Yeah.
both episodes. Let's be
it's
real.
Can we go ahead and just say like how nice it is to not have to worry about that pronoun?
Yeah,
I mean,
we're done
clearly it
playing
didn't matter to me because last episode I was just like, her. I mean, him. I mean, who?
We're done playing the pronoun game, and this is what I
was not very good
love
at it.
going back and rewatching the pilot with Shiro going, wait, that's your father and brother, because you can just kind of see him going
Click.
through. He never mentioned having another son. He definitely mentioned having a daughter.
Yep.
Like you could just see those pieces just click into place.
And conceivably, and you pointed this out when we were rewatching this set of episodes, conceivably Shiro and Pidge, aka Katie, met the day of the launch, because in that picture of her and her brother, the ship is in the background.
And it's the same ship that Chiro is thinking of during the clear your minds, undo that. So that had to have been right before the Kerberos
Yeah, that
launch.
was my giant red flag of like, wait a minute. Shiro knows what's happening.
Well, I'm looking at that. That's the point where we really had the emphasis on that picture that she couldn't let go of. And I'm like, okay, either Pidge is a girl in disguise or he's trans, because that's definitely her in the start.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, okay, in disguise, good.
Now,
Good to know, because of things that happen later on.
at the risk of sounding like a complete moron.
Oh, here we go.
And maybe it was just because when we were initially going through the series, we were just watching it late
Yeah,
at
of
night. And
course.
there was a lot going on in my life. But at the risk of sounding like a moron, I was sitting here going, does anybody else think it's really weird that he and his girlfriend have the exact same face? That
I was
sounds
hoping that you weren't gonna say that. I was like, is she gonna tell them that they have the same face? Because that's like super anime, like really like down to the drawings of like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
the exact same
and
face.
I'm also, hip deep and sinking in Tumblr, and everyone's got headcanons about this character's
Yes.
non-binary, this character's
Yes.
trans, this character's, and so it's like, okay, that's entirely a possibility. And having Bryke at the helm, and we had our on-screen lesbian relationship at the end of Korra, I'm like, you know what? maybe they're going to do the thing. And that
be
would
awesome.
be great.
Yeah.
And they didn't do the thing, but it was still pretty great.
I mean, for what they
Which
did
is good
do.
because everyone's like, oh, I already knew. And it's like, oh, okay, those would have been really bad comments if he was trans.
But that being said, they could have been more progressive with it, but changing Pidge's character from a boy who was just kind of the generic nerd to a girl who has family at stake is so much more interesting.
Oh, I love that storyline. It's great, and I wanted to learn more. Even though my soul was crushed last episode.
Right? And the fact that we split up the nerds and it's not just one person who does all of the technology and all of the
it's
everything.
fantastic.
It's the very obvious tech nerd and the mechanical genius that is Hunk. Like,
oh, I can't get over that.
can we get a character episode for him in season 2?
I hope so, because I want to know more about his life.
Oh my god, yeah, we know nothing about anyone's backstories. The most backstory we have is Pidge. And it's just like, ugh.
Oh my
And
gosh.
even then,
These are
it's
the
not a
frustrating-
ton.
These are the frustrating things you realize when you hit the end of an 11-episode season and you're looking for things to tide you over into season 2.
Yeah.
This fandom hit hiatus really hard.
Really fast. I didn't even think about that until now.
The hiatus is not treating anyone kindly, but they didn't go insane during hiatus like Sherlock fans did.
Yeah, I don't want to talk
They
about
just
that.
kind of ramped up the creativity.
I don't want to bring that back. I just got over that. I went to different Sherlock AA meetings. I'm good. I don't need to go back to that. Just kidding.
Wouldn't that be BB meetings for
Yeah, that's what it was. But I was
221B
you,
Baker Street?
You,
That didn't work out well. That was a terrible thing. I forget I said it.
We will move on from that.
Yeah, please do.
I know a lot of people who have gone through Sherlock AA in the intervening years.
Yes.
Anyway,
Sorry.
this is the Voltron panel. We cannot
Speaking
stay
of
on
Voltron,
topic.
I wanted to bring up from the chat.
Do it.
That I agree with Andrew because I was talking to a friend of mine when we were. She's watching it for the first time, so we're going through it. It's great, and she was noticing. She's like, "I'm sorry, did Corinne just use a napkin to shield the princess from Sludge?" And I was like, "Wait, rewind."
Was
I don't-
a
I thought
cloth
it was-
napkin.
Yeah, I thought it was a plate when I first saw it, so I was like, "Wait, rewind that," and I was like, "Oh my god, that's a napkin."
If you've ever eaten at a
You work
nice
with what
place
you
that
got.
has the heavy cloth napkins, you can kill a man with
I mean,
those
because
things.
it's just interesting to me because Coran's that goofy like yeah guy. So like in my brain, I'm not thinking of him actually being like an actual protector. So when he like immediately jumped into action, I was like, oh, don't mess with Coran, okay?
Yeah, and you get hints of it in this episode too.
And that's what I was gonna say. I really liked that.
And what I love is that even the characters who are like, oh, you're kind of a joke, is like occasionally they will show up and smack you in the face with their competency, and you're like, oh.
Oh god.
Again, we have things with Hunk coming up, and it's just like, he's actually really smart, and no one ever gives him credit for it. Like, holy cow. Just casually hot-wiring alien technology he's
every
never
time.
seen.
It's great.
Yeah. To go back to Corinne, you know he is a man that should be feared when they're all in their lions and all of a sudden all of them are blinded. And he's like, it's fine, it's just a training
I
exercise.
wrote that down. This is an expert level drill that you
didn't
really
know-
shouldn't attempt until you've been flying for years, but we're in a bit of a rush, so here we go. Like,
And in my brain, I was
Kanye
like,
shrug.
what was she? Well, I didn't understand it when it happened, and then all of a sudden they're like, "What's happening? I can't see." And I was like, "No, you're a monster!" I mean, I will agree. Like, even though we had that giant food fight, I know that we have to get into episode 3 and everything, but like,
No, we have time.
Princess Allura was kind of being a little brat, a little bit. She was being
But
a
that
little
was
pushy.
the point.
I know, but it was like at the same time, I was like, "Come on, like you gotta let him breathe a little bit, just a tiny bit."
I mean, to be fair, she knows what's at stake.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
because she's
Yes.
seen the destructive power of the Galra Empire. It took her planet from her. And I think that's more of what it is over anything else. It's not like, we have to protect the universe. It's more like, everything I've ever known and loved is gone.
except for Coran and
Get
mice.
your stuff together, Voltron crew.
Well, and I think part of it was her putting on the act, because she did say, yeah, I gave them a common enemy. It's what they needed. And
So
I think
she's
just
playing drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing that flying in unison was not going to do it. It's like, all right, we're I'm pulling out the big guns. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yay. Am I the only one else who's doing this?
I'm the only one still pretending to be enthusiastic. Like, that was just that was a really great way to show that. The
Yeah.
series is really, really good at show.
Yeah,
When telling.
I just
is
love
not
where they
gonna work.
take anime tropes and they throw it in like, is everybody else nodding? Like, I love things like that.
Yes!
Like, that's adorable.
I love the screen splits. And it's
Yes!
like, you can tell when it's going to be Voltron because it does that very specific split.
It's so so great because
Otherwise, it's like, no.
This is the type of show that can do those split screens ironically, like when they're all like, yeah, and then also do them 100% seriously.
Yeah.
And it works in both scenarios. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
It's a matter
I
of
can't wait to talk
execution.
about episode 3 because there's a favorite clip of mine that I want to talk about, but I'll wait.
There are many wonderful things in episode 3. I am super amused by all of this. I want to know where Lance got the pajamas and the lion slippers. And I want to know where I can get a
so
pair
bad.
of those.
Hey guys, I usually don't like to put this out there, but my birthday's next Sunday. Who wants to give us a summer?
Does anyone
I'm just kidding.
know
I'm just
if
kidding.
lion? No, I've worn through the slippers that I've been wearing around the house. If lion slippers can be obtained, and if I can keep my cat from destroying them.
Ooh, yeah. My dog who's outside right now tore up my Totoro slippers. So
no.
let's just say he was in the doghouse for a pretty good amount of time because I was like, those were nice.
So yeah, if anyone knows if/where it is possible to get lion slippers, or even those were some nice pajamas. Where did he get those?
Also, his regiment way better than mine. I can't even keep up with his beautiful classic jazz that he had going on and his little facial cream that made him all real
I want to say
shiny.
it was Spencer Harris
Yes.
sent us a screen cap. Sorry, I just woke up. #flawless.
I love the one he sent of, and again, it's episode 3 with the sacrificial fire, and it's when
God.
the Bay won't accept your apology, and
Literally?
I howled.
It is my favorite thing. I want to frame it. It's so
I mean,
beautiful.
Megan can vouch for this. I sat there and I just cackled at it.
Literally laughed out loud.
Literally, it was amazing. But that is next episode. I love the cheerleader pyramid.
It was so good.
Someone
And
actually.
why are you on? Why are you up top? I thought I was the head.
You literally yelled, I'm the leg.
I was yelling a lot of things. I don't know. And someone actually, I've seen this fan art and I love it. Someone did a fan art of them in cheerleader outfits in that pile. Somebody
Show me the picture.
Yes, I've seen it. Someone please link it. I don't have it handy, obviously. Someone linked it eons ago before I'd watched the show, and I was like, what the hell am
And
I
not
looking
to
at?
mention
And I saw that
for-
episode and went, oh.
Well, and not to mention that for a group of television producers and writers and animators who did not go back and rewatch the old series, they managed to slip a little Easter egg in there. And I'll form the head.
Was talking with a friend who was because that was the big, we yell it every time it happens during the transformation sequence in the
Arms
80s,
and body.
and I formed the head like it was a thing.
I forgot
And
about
I was
that.
yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about now? And it was just all coming back to me, dream sequence.
She's having a Shiro moment over there.
For real. I was like, my arm's getting tingly. I'm having a stroke or I'm remembering things. I don't know which one. I smell toast. It must be both. Sorry. Anyway.
Wow.
It's been a day. I'm sorry.
Wow.
That was a terrible joke. I apologize. I'll just see myself.
No, stay here. That was wonderful. My friend told me she was watching this with a group of her friends, and one of them, every single time the Voltron transformation sequence hit, would yell, and I'll form the head. And I'm like, how have you not murdered him yet? Like, that is my question. The first time it's funny. The second time it's like, okay, that's fine. The third through 8,000th time, it's
Jeez.
like, you need to
That's
stop.
kind of how I felt. How they always have to say Voltron. If for people who are of age, if you did a drinking game to every time I say Voltron, you'd be dead within episode 1.
Well, yeah, episode 1 is 66 minutes.
Yeah, that's why I said you'd be dead. Just dead. You're dead, Jim. You're dead.
Yeah. It's like doing the drinking game for 24 where you take a shot every time they show the clock.
Oh, why would you do that? Sorry. Just no.
And everyone who's watched 24 just kind of,
Play responsibly, guys.
Yeah,
Play
no.
responsibly.
or drink with water if you're going to do stuff like that.
That's usually the only way I can keep
games
hydrated.
To get back, not to, I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit, but not to like jump ahead to the end of episode 3, talking a little bit about more about Pidge, actually being a girl, and this, knowing that and looking back at the pilot and then these 2 episodes, like having that context, I'm pretty sure, and granted, I have to wait till we make it through the rest of the season, but I'm pretty sure every episode of Voltron passes the Bechdel test as a result of that little twist.
Yep. Thank God.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No.
Isn't
You're
that
right.
don't even think about it.
I'm
You're
not
like,
because I'm just like, oh. All right. Oh, right. right.
Isn't
Got it.
that
Well, when she's
wonderful?
yelling
I
at
love that.
Allura about not being the princess of her, they're not talking about a man.
Nope.
And again,
They're
it's
just throwing epic levels of
it's
shade.
just a small little thing, but it's like, wow, by having more than one female character and not having love interest be like their main focus, every single
awesome.
episode of this season passes the Bechdel test. And it's just such a small thing, but it's deliberate and it's like, well done, gentlemen.
No, like
this
seriously,
is great.
this is fantastic.
There are
I mean, I know that they
multi-million-
want shippers and things happening because I've seen it. I've seen the artwork, but like,
Oh God!
yeah.
So you
that was
guys are, like I said, the hiatus hit hard. They went. The fandom is
Whoa.
prolific.
Well, I mean, you guys are fantastic, and I love the artwork. It's just kind of like, where did you guys get this information from? Where is it happening? Did I miss something? Someone needs to give me a story.
Communal
But-
headcanons for the most part.
Yeah, no, I was on Tumblr late at night, and I was like, I shouldn't have done this.
Oh, that is dangerous.
But yes,
Like in the hashtag.
no. Just in general, just looking at just Voltron, anything.
Yeah, like in the Voltron hashtag.
Yeah. And I was like,
okay.
oh, wow, these shippers are interesting. I find this, yeah.
There's
like,
this thing
not bad.
called Tumblr Savior where you can filter things out, and it has a not safe for work filter.
Yeah, because I've seen Tumblr, what is it, After Dark or something like that? I don't know what it's called, but I was like, I shouldn't have been on here.
All of
I was
Tumblr.
gonna say, isn't that just regular
True.
Tumblr?
I mean, that's true, but I think there's like another, I don't know. I saw some things I wasn't ready for. Okay?
That's all of Tumblr.
But yeah, I agree with you. I love that because my friend of mine who's been looking for more kind of like not woman empowerment, but like animes that are not like, oh, and look at me, I'm so cute, like kind of things. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, there's a few of them. You just gotta look for them. And she is now watching Voltron, and she's like, holy crap! I just realized we have two bad A women on here, and it's awesome, especially when we get further into the episode
Yeah.
with Princess.
It's fairly glorious.
Yeah. But
And,
So
and
we-
that's the other thing is that both of these characters, they're well-rounded characters, and
Yes.
neither of them are the stereotypical strong female character.
yeah, they're well-rounded, which I
Yeah.
love.
No,
they're
we
both
have Tech Geek and Action Princess.
And they're two completely different type of
Tell
women.
me I'm wrong.
No, I
Yeah.
just love that. I want that to be a title.
Yeah, and they're two
Action princess.
completely different type of women because the
Yes.
action princess is also extremely feminine,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously for obvious reasons, Pidge is not. That's just not her personality. But
We'll talk a
neither.
little bit about that in the next episode,
Yup,
where she
yeah, I
rolls
was
a
like-
natural one on her small talk. Like, holy crap!
I was like, wow,
But-
we just turned a whole leaf.
But again, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, look, you can have two female characters, and
No.
they can be different people.
Yeah,
and
that's fantastic.
without being stereotypes. It's great.
Yeah. I love this show.
What?
Just
No, I
love
wasn't
the show.
laughing at you. It was saying Alexis saw things during the war. I mean, Tumblr died. That made me laugh. Thank you,
We've all seen
Andrew.
things. Speaking of seeing things during the war, we get another convenient
Whoa.
Shiro flashback.
Whoa, that flashback was nuts.
And I love
Dude.
that I love that we did that, because we only just had the little one in this episode, but we'd had 2 or 3 exercises before this where Shiro's the last one standing. Shiro did it right. Like, obviously he's good at this game, so we had to take
Too
this
good.
one and, well, yeah, obviously. So we had to
Little
take this
too
one and
good.
go, look, he's not infallible, because he absolutely froze.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
nothing.
He does that kind of often. guys.
Shiro has left the building.
Every single time. But no, I think the one thing I did like about that whole sequence and that fight was that the editing and going back and forth was so good. It was just I
Yes!
loved the fact that we were like, now we're fighting his robot form, and then we're back to him back.
We've
and
switched episodes.
Oh dang it, we're on episode 3.
still
Sorry.
talking about 2.
Sorry, my bad. I'm gonna bring it back. We'll talk about that later. Bring it back. Sorry.
That said, I did love that. I made a note of that.
So good.
That was some glorious editing.
So good. Okay, continue.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about when he freaked out when he was facing the Gladiator.
That was nuts.
Ah. Yeah, and during that little exercise, which by the way, I love their robot training program or whatever. The design of the Altean robots is really legit.
It reminded me of the robots from Portal, but way scarier.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's just gonna drop out of the ceiling, ready to fight. Let's do this. Like, does this happen often? Is this a thing?
I mean, maybe that's why the Alteans were just really
Well,
awesome.
and another thing to know
Well,
is...
and we see things later on.
Yeah, of course.
And another thing to know is that the princess mentions that, that was meant for an Altean child.
Yup.
Which means that Alteans are either super badass or these guys are just really bad at being a team right now. And
to
or
one.
some
I mean, half a
combination
dozen of
of
the
the
other.
A
two.
little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
But I mean, again, the stuff we find out about Alteans later is just like, yeah, no, I wouldn't put it past Altean children to be super badass.
No, I completely
Let's
agree.
be completely real. And the one other thing that I think we need to hit on here is we keep cutting away to Zarkon and to the druid whose name continues to escape
Hagar.
me. Thank you.
Okay.
For some reason,
Don't
my
know.
brain's just like, it's Cree Summer, and refuses to slot another name in there.
Yeah, that's exactly where my brain goes. And I'm like, look at Summer, look at you.
Summer, yay!
Which,
Brain,
by the way,
brain,
I'm so used to hearing her in like these really cutesy roles,
Right?
Where number 5 and like Susie from the Rugrats. That when
don't
she
have to-
plays a villain, it is scary.
So
She is
good.
good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she knows her stuff.
She's fantastic.
We get to see a little bit of. We can just knock out both episodes Zarkon bits because it's
Yeah.
about 5 minutes of footage total. We get to see how he operates, and it's talking to that commander. And was your mission a success? No, we had to pull out early because it would have murdered half the men if we didn't. Well, you should have let him die, and then the other ones would be stronger. But now we're gonna kill you too because weakness is a disease, and we need to cut it off instead of letting it spread.
And I was
I'm
just like,
what?
whoa, what?
That's a really weird philosophy.
You broke my
That's
toy, you shall
really-
die.
It's bad for morale.
I don't think he gives a
don't
flying
Yeah,
fuck.
Morale, right? Yeah, who cares how people
Yeah.
function?
Yep.
And it's one of those things that you can only really do when you've conquered most of the galaxy, and a lot of your troops are sentries.
Super expendable.
Do you think it's
Yeah.
because of the 10,000 years he hasn't really had to like a fight, because he's like Voltron's gone, so that's how I roll.
like he
is I
hasn't
need to
had a
conquer.
challenge
Yeah,
in
so
the
he's like-
span of the 10,000 years.
Yeah, so he's just kind of like, I get my way. You didn't give me my way, so you die. I guess.
Well, I
don't
think
know.
that's also how he lives his life, for
True.
one. And for another, he really does just have that many people.
He has so many people.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
You
All of the
clearly
people.
because
No.
yeah, it's not even like an art of war type scenario.
Nope.
This was just like, oh no, this is how I feel. And yeah, somebody who, if he can afford to like lose an entire half of a squadron, like where like somebody that he puts in a leadership position where prudence is not rewarded, but like reckless violence is, but at the same time not ambition. Like
It was like it didn't make
like,
sense.
I can't imagine being any kind of at any level in the Galra Empire being like a low level crony where your life is just 100% expendable, or a higher level officer where you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't.
I feel like it's again a little bit of column A.
yeah,
and
this
column
is
B.
like a catch-22.
Sendak
Yeah.
epically failed. He lost the Red Lion,
Yep.
lost his cruiser, got
Yep.
completely taken down,
Yep.
and it's still like, you have another chance because you're in a strategic position. This guy's like, well, I saved half my men because otherwise they would have died. And it's like, you
messed up. Go away.
Well, and I mean, they also have this.
I don't know.
They also have this philosophy where it's kind of hard to tell where like genuine fear for your life and like dogma, kind of
Yeah.
where one begins and one ends, because Haggard asked, can we trust Sendak? Which I thought was a really weird question
was
to
the-
ask of somebody you expected to bring you back Voltron.
See, and that's the interesting part to me, because I'm just like, wait a minute. That's why I want to know more about what happened in this 10,000 years, because if she's questioning one of his, I guess, higher officers, I guess?
yeah.
Enough so that he had the Red Lion on his ship. Why?
Don't know.
Don't know.
I don't
but
know.
let's bring the Red Lion to where the other one's at. That
Just feel like
doesn't make any sense.
set him up for failure,
This
I
is
feel.
again.
It doesn't
it's-
make any sense.
It's one of
don't
those
know.
things where, like I said, weakness is not tolerated, but neither is ambition.
I don't
So
know.
it's one of those things where it's like, I don't understand. But like to get back, she's like, can he be trusted? And he's like, yes, because for a member
is
of the
a Galra.
for a member of the Galra Empire, it's either you complete your mission or you die trying.
Yeah,
which,
the only thing that will stop him is victory or death.
Which
Vrepet saw.
I guess is why the other guy, why he grabbed the other guy and was like, okay, you need to go. Because for that guy, it wasn't victory or death. It was, strategically, it's probably better if we pull back. So he wasn't
so it looks like he's like giving up, I guess. That's why, because he pulled back.
Yeah.
You can encourage your men to throw their lives away when you have more men. That's all I got for this.
Well,
It's an abundance of numbers.
And another thing, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Andrew in the chat said Hagar doesn't want anyone supplanting her as favorite. I guess that's why she was asking.
Well, let's put it this way. No one else can keep Zarkon alive. We saw that quintessence infusion. That's probably what's kept him going for 10,000 years.
I was going to say, I was like, what's happening?
She is injecting him with planet juice. That's it. That's it.
Sounds like a Gatorade. Hey, you guys want to go pick up some of that Gatorade? I want planet juice flavor. The new Powerade?
Actually, I feel like that's an Old Spice flavor.
That could be
Planet juice.
Planet juice, Old Spice, guys.
Brand new planet juice.
I can totally see it.
I'm on a rocket ship.
Yeah, I'm on a planet.
I'm on a lion. Add that to the list of photoshops I need in my life.
Please.
Oh, Lord. But anyway, so to
Look at
kind of
your
get
back.
back.
Now back to me.
But that opens up like a
at your
can of
paladin.
worms in terms of like questions we don't have answered.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, at what point did Zarkon decide, hey, we can take that, planet life juice, start injecting it into me, and then I can basically be immortal?
Yeah.
At what point did he make that discovery? And
think
or
she
did she entice him with that?
I feel like
I don't
it's
know.
life essence, and that the druids have figured out how to essentially vampire it out of people. Again, we're looking at stuff. We're looking at like episode 10 here. Is when we start getting into the mechanics of quintessence and the weird stuff that
So
goes
let's
down.
not go into it anymore.
So, back it up a little. Zarkon's a vampire, so...
No, that's what I was gonna say. I wonder, like, does planet juice? That's just gonna be in my head. I want to know if planet juice just gives you life, or is there like more things to it? Maybe that's how they use it to work on your.
He said I feel strong enough to take on all the paladins myself.
At which point I cackled, because let's be real.
Yeah, no, for real.
Like, it doesn't matter if it's a giant robot. Yeah, I'll fight you.
Just straight up. I agree with Allie in the chat. Hagar is female Palpatine.
Ooh, I like it.
I feel like she's just playing a game at this point in time.
Well, and she does say when she sends out her little henchmen, then Voltron will be ours, not like it will be yours. It will be ours, which means in her mind they're on semi-level playing
Which I did
field.
not get that.
And or twist, dance, puppet, dance.
That's what I was
also
thinking. I was
why
like, she's playing the game.
That's also why her failure isn't punished.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, she's like, I'll just make another one stronger and better, and I was like,
Ladies and gentlemen, the definition of insanity. You do the same thing and expect a different response.
We're in officially episode 3
Oh,
now,
God,
right?
yes, we are.
Okay, so when she takes, the gladiatory guy whose name is Myzax,
Okay.
and she
Because we're
turns
taking
him,
all the letters from the end of the alphabet there.
I don't recall from the original series how she made those giant monsters, but I gotta say, like, seeing the process that they went through in this episode, I was like, so is he... I feel like he's physically infused into this giant robot
So when we
thing
saw
now.
him, he was in some weird casing. So I thought he was in like some, what is it called? I keep wanting to call it planet juice. Quintessence. Because I didn't understand what because it looked like a casing, but it also looked like a gem rock type of thing. So I didn't know if they just implant it into.
It was never really
body?
answered. Either he is physically in there somewhere and we're having a Silas breakdown sort of moment, which is messed up.
For those of you who don't watch Transformers Prep, you should.
Yep, that's right. Or his life, soul, quintessence, mind, whatever, was transferred into the Robeast, and that's what we've got.
Or, I'm thinking just kind of with the way that it was looking, I'm thinking it's kind of more of the breakdown sort of deal.
Yeah.
But it could be either. It could be some combination of the two, or maybe it was just like piloting a giant robot. I don't know.
See, I would have guessed full transfer. Okay. Especially with the weird everything, I would have guessed full transfer, but we just don't know.
No, that's the thing is, like, I'm on the third part of that option where I thought he was inside, and then whenever they did something, he would just, like, fall out.
I actually think it's I think he's physically in there, but I'm pretty sure.
Not,
but
like,
it's
actually.
like I feel like spoilers. I guess I feel like it's sort of an Attack on Titan situation where he's like, if you're one of the people who can transform into a Titan.
Spoilers!
I said spoiler alert. It's been out for how long? Come on. But where like physically they're still in there, but like mentally it's also a different. It's
That
a
would make
completely
more
different
sense.
state.
Well, but then again, you look at the second one she made, and again, that's spoiler territory, and you sit there and look at the methods and go,
talk about it
question
then.
mark.
No, like
Yeah.
that was just a giant question
We
mark
don't
for
have
me.
consistent
Like,
methodology here, which is
Maybe
what happens
she-
when you deal with magic.
Maybe she tries new things. She's like, the robot exoskeleton didn't work
feel
as
like-
well last time. Let's try something new.
Throw it in a cauldron. Well, that didn't work.
We're just going
dump
we're going
everything.
full Linkara. It's magic. I don't have to explain it.
That's true. It's
Like,
just
that's what we're doing.
They're just like, magic.
That being
So
said,
let's talk about Myzax. Let's talk
Because-
about these
Holy
flashbacks.
cow.
Let's talk about this
Dear
gladiatorial arena. And I think one of my favorite things is just Pidge freaking out about, why would you hurt him? And Shiro kind of going,
I don't know.
I don't remember any of this.
That's an excellent question.
Thank you, small child. I don't know
I
the answer.
was in my brain. I was going, do you actually think Shiro would hurt your brother in any way possible unless there was something obviously happening?
And she just immediately turns on him like he has an explanation. Like, we've gone through this whole
Guys.
I don't remember anything thing.
Guys.
He literally just said that 2 minutes ago.
Pidge made me so angry in this episode. I can't. She's great. I love her so much, but this episode I was just like, oh my god, you're the most stubborn little brat right now. I want to punch you in the face.
Like,
but
You like
close
her,
enough.
but you don't have to like her right
No,
now.
it's true. No,
Oh, yeah.
right now, not so much. Not my
I get
favorite
her,
person.
and I understand your knee-jerk reaction is this person that I trusted, that my family trusted. I
Yeah.
hear that he hurt them. Why? Explain yourself. And it's like, about that. Yeah.
See, what had happened was, like, it was one of those instances where I was like, dear God, let him explain. Oh, I forgot. He doesn't remember anything. Jeez.
Okay, give me 15 minutes of screen time and a convenient traumatic flashback, and then I'll have an explanation for you. Okay, cool. Thank
As we
you.
defeat this monster. You cool?
But
Cool.
so they actually try to make it to a crashed ship. And this is
The crashed ship.
Yeah, and this is
That
one
was
of the
Sendak's
one
ship.
of the examples where we get to see Shiro's arm being used as sort of like a plot device, because it's like, hey, this is Galra technology. Boom! Hey, look at that!
I need a hand
on
source that's compatible with, okay, let me give you a hand.
I don't need a USB port. Sorry.
That's why I was shaking my fist. I was like, you son of a...
Sorry, I just see this and I was like, please don't hit me.
No, sorry.
I made a pun. You missed it. She didn't.
I just chose not to acknowledge it, you monster. Anyway.
Well, I'll have to save it. It came in handy.
Oh my god!
So anyway.
Oh my god! What were you saying?
She's gonna murder
This
me.
has been fun, guys. I have to go now. My
Sit
planet
down.
needs me.
Oh my god!
Sit down.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Please breathe.
Oh god.
Please
Okay.
breathe.
But yes, that was the moment where I was like, okay, Pidge, I get it. I understand that you were going through something that probably nobody in this world will ever understand. But how dare you force your teammate, as something is literally falling from the sky, like Chicken Little style, and pretend like, no, this is it's more important that I know about my family at a, what was it, 15% download or whatever, instead of saving a town or whatever was
Or,
happening.
you know, your
Not
own
dying.
lives. Not dying in the process.
And I was like, again, totally understand where you're coming from, but don't actually try to kill you and your teammate.
I mean,
over
I
this
guess
information.
One thing to keep in mind is that most of the characters in the show are teenagers.
True.
Yeah.
So, and not to say that, like, teenagers make dumb decisions or anything like that, but when you're a teenager who's been obsessing about one thing
For a
over
year.
the past year.
Yeah, and the fact that she went into the academy and she went through long lengths to get to where she is. So of course, when she gets the one thing that she's like, oh my gosh, I finally found what I wanted. I understand, but again, you're putting other people's lives in danger.
And this
And
is as close
yourself
as
in
she's
danger.
been.
Apparently it was
You're
just
not
not
gonna
enough.
find your family if you're dead in a crater.
But it's a
broken.
good thing the
Just
lions
broken.
can move independently.
Yeah.
that was
And I
crazy.
loved, I
Weird,
loved
right?
that for that, and then the shot afterward, like that shot where they're with their lions, you get a really good sense of the scale of these things. These
Yes.
lions
That was
are
pretty cool.
huge. And that's one of those things that you don't really think about it very often, and then you have that shot, and it's like, okay. And then you see them fighting the Myzax, the Robeast. And it's easily twice their size.
Yeah, if they
twice, 2 or 3 times the size of the Black Lion, which is the biggest one.
Yeah, and the fact that even when they form Voltron, it's like, yeah, they're just
Neck and neck.
neck and neck.
Yeah,
It's
and
crazy.
Scale is just like, oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
gotta say,
These are giant robots.
I really appreciated that, like, the first giant monster that they have to fight, because one of the things that you really remember from Voltron was that it fought giant monsters.
A lot.
Power Ranger style. But what I really appreciated about this particular fight is that they're like, Voltron is supposed to be one of the the strongest thing in the universe. Why are we not, like, winning right now?
Yes,
and you can
I love-
only kind of attribute so much of that to inexperience.
Oh, yeah.
Because I want to say that this thing that Hagar has created is the first thing ever like that. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I bet you the Druids have been doing stuff like this for a long time, because otherwise, why would you need a giant robot if not there are giant monsters that need defeating?
No, I completely agree with you on
Possibly.
that. Yeah.
Like, granted, it might have been, like, a long time since giant monsters were a thing.
Or maybe the monsters were
almost-
giant, but not as giant.
It's
Voltron was
almost
just
like
bigger.
technology advances in 10,000 years.
No!
Yeah,
you lie.
don't say.
You lie! Megan Voltron.
That's one of the biggest criticisms I've seen from a lot of people that I've seen
Really?
watch this show is we're not going to talk about how technology has advanced and Voltron might not be the biggest kid in the playground anymore. Like, we're not going to talk about that?
Sciencey magic, guys.
Yeah,
Time
when
to
you
rhyme
say it
stuff.
that way, it really does sound like it's haunted.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so this, and what you were talking about earlier, I loved the convenient flashback was super convenient, but
No,
let's be
extremely.
real, Shiro's convenient plot flashbacks are a thing.
And it was just
And they're
really
going to continue
well
to
choreographed.
be a thing.
Yeah.
I just want to point out to Haywood in the chat, actually, who
Here we
says
go.
Voltron was before Power Rangers. Actually, the Sentai series have been around since the 70s. Voltron didn't happen until the 80s.
I knew,
Just
see,
saying.
that's why I didn't say anything.
Just saying,
I
trying
knew.
to nerd check me, Haywood.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
Megan knows her stuff. Don't mess with that.
Oh.
Even I was like, nope. If Megan reads it, I'm just gonna. Katie and I are gonna be like, and roll back.
No,
Let the Green Lion take this
joking,
one.
obviously.
No,
I'm
yeah.
joking, obviously.
Are you?
Well, and again, to be fair, I saw Power Rangers before I saw Voltron.
Yes.
We went over this last week. Not
Yes,
a
we
big
did.
deal. But this fight was so good.
Oh man,
I loved Accidental Shield. I loved still trying to get the hang of things. I loved Lance. I'm gonna kick it. No, don't kick it. I'm gonna kick it anyway. Lance, no. Lance, yes.
Well, and again, on top of everything, this character design was so good and so unique. I think I remember rewatching a few old episodes of Voltron like a couple years ago, and I just remember the giant monster that went up against Voltron was the most generic looking thing. You know, again, it's one of those,
Grr-arg.
in retrospect,
Grr-arg.
this looked so cool. Like, it had a unique weapon, it had a unique design. There's,
great.
again, character backstory there.
Yep.
It's very good stuff.
Sorry, there's a lot of mic dropping booms happening in
Yeah.
this chat
Oh
right
my
now.
God,
I'm
everyone's going a
sorry.
little crazy.
No, that was really good. I want to rewind that and keep that forever.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Because I love you, Haywood. It's fine. I'm sorry. I'm not actually mad.
But now that we're at the battle scene,
Yeah.
I think my
Oh my
favorite
God.
thing of all time during this entire episode and sequence was when they decided to go into black and white and red.
The shift in animation with Keith figuring out the sword.
Frickin' it gave me goosebumps and chills because it was just like, I mean, I know that Dragon Ball didn't do it as often, but the movies have been doing those recently, and I'm just like, why are we not doing this more often?
It's like the animation changed. Shit just got real.
No, like it can't, like it's just so good. Sorry, I remember I had to like pause, rewind, and go. That just happened. I literally
It
just
was so good.
I just like they don't have to do it all the time. That's not what I'm asking for.
Oh, no.
But,
But
just
it takes you by surprise when it
Yeah.
happens. You're like, oh, this is
And-
a thing and it's occurring. Wow.
and
Boy, is it effective.
no,
Oh, yeah.
super effective.
we
But I like-
had a
it,
full-on
like-
anime, slice it in half, wait, explosion,
Explosion.
just standing there holding the
And then
pose. I'm like, what
hero
am I
stance.
watching?
We'll watch out for the hero pose.
It's like, what am I watching? This is so anime.
Yeah.
And you brought it up earlier, the use of flashbacks and the way it was integrated into
the choreography, it was
in the
great.
real-time fight, and him speaking in the flashback, and then it, like, because he's
That
saying
was
in
the best.
That was crazy
so
to me.
good.
Yeah, I don't know who's doing storyboards, but you need an award, a raise, something.
Can we nominate you for the daytime Emmy? Can
something?
we do this?
Because
dang,
that was so good.
Dang.
I just and obviously as we get onto it and more of the fight scenes and everything else that happens throughout the series, you're just like, what? But like in general, it just that was the moment. I mean, besides me obviously loving the first episode, when the third episode hit and that scene came up, I was like, I'm in it for the long run. I already signed up, but you can take my money, my viewership, all of it. Just take my life and my soul.
Not your soul.
A little bit.
No, you need that.
As long as I get a lion or maybe some lion slippers, I'll take it.
See, I knew I was in it to win it when they kind of handed us Shiro and said, he's gone full anime, he's amnesiac, and he's space dad. And I'm like, shoot!
Every time now, I can't get
Walking
space dad.
anime cliche.
Yeah, like
He
straight up.
is,
Like,
but it's my character type.
Well,
it's adorable.
and is it me or is anybody else waiting for him to just say, believe in me who believes in you?
Oh, stop!
I again with the go.
vapors.
Seriously, go. Be great. That killed me.
Moda rolling. Chat says, cool guys don't look at explosions.
That's exactly what I think that's in my notes.
No, and that's exactly what happened. Like I said, we got an anime heroic stance, slice, and an explosion all at the same time, and it was great.
Yeah.
And I just loved seeing them actually work as a team, and that again was the moment of like, I think we're getting the hang of this. I think
Yeah.
you guys are a really good team, and we got through our differences, and of course we get a little bit more into. Before we move on to that, I have to talk about the village. We have to talk about that.
I was gonna say, are we gonna skip over?
No, we're going to
No.
talk about the Erusians because the apology dance and the momentary sacrificial fire was
love
one
where
of
he's
my
like,
favorites.
Stop. It's just like she's like, okay, I'll just wait here until you're done.
Okay, this is cool. This is great. Whatever. Like she has rejected our apology dance. We must throw ourselves on the sacrificial flame. Like
then you
they
see someone
had
just
it
being like,
prepared. It was a pyre. It lit up immediately when they threw a torch on it. Like they were ready.
The bacons have been lit. God door calls for aid. That's what I thought. I wanted to
Well,
ask.
that,
Dang.
they think that the wrath of this goddess is worse than lighting themselves on fire.
Yeah, they think that Voltron is a lion goddess foretold by the ancients because we cannot
also
get
how
away
con-
from lion carvings
How
ever.
convenient was that carving? Am I right? He was just like
right
as
there.
like when he's just like as it has been told. I'm like, where did that rock come from?
Door number one.
Did you do that while you were waiting outside? What did happen?
Yeah, seriously.
Were you
so-
doodling on that like while you were hiding in the bushes?
But I mean,
He's just real
they've
bored.
been on this planet for like 10,000 years. They probably did get a good glimpse of Voltron at the end of the war, or at least seeing the lions sent off. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't actually know, and we're not likely to get that information.
Because yeah, we didn't get to see the king, send off the lions to the four corners of the galaxy.
Goodbye,
or
my
whatever.
children.
Fly, my
did
pretty
so
fly.
the natives of Eris, the Erusians, are like, okay, we've come to ask why the lion goddess suddenly hates us.
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh, they're so
she
cute.
hasn't come to smite us for our sinful ways. No.
What is this, Sodom and Gomorrah? What's happening? Like, what are you doing?
It was played for laughs, but it was definitely cult behavior.
Right? I was just like, what are you doing?
Like, oh, you're our lion goddess. Okay, we're gonna do the traditional dance of apology. You have rejected our dance of apology. We're gonna throw ourselves on the sacrificial fire now.
Now you must die.
I'm just getting this twos and bulba moment.
I love that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
just
we
the
may
favorite-
proceed with the dance?
Yes.
And
And just the favorite little one-off gag is the one of them running up and hugging Keith, and him being like, I don't usually hug strangers, but you guys are pretty cute. And this 3 octaves below.
Thank you.
And just like the look on his face, like, what just happened?
Also, they do look cuddly. I'm not gonna lie.
They
though.
do.
I
They're
was like,
adorable.
Well, I mean, you pointed this out, but Corinne is holding one like a plushie in the background for most of that scene.
Again, also,
And
want
it's just
another one
sitting
of
there
those.
like, this is my life now. This is my life.
But I love it because I love how Hunk was just like, oh my god, they're so adorable. And I was like, yes, you get in there. You cuddle those little adorable things. I was going to say something else.
Well, and, yeah, I know. Hunk also being ready to retreat
dial
and
it
keep his
back.
head down, and Keith just hauling him back like, not you.
I love that. He's like, okay, I'm going to go.
Well, and it's the super because it's just landed, all this fun stuff. And we just have this nice little moment of levity in there, and it helps to break the tension.
Well, and if you remember, his is the lion of like he represents kindness and things like that. Not necessarily bravery. But
We
like,
don't really have a line of bravery. We have kindness, we have stupid things, we have smart, and we have
Stubbornness.
and we have friendly, because Blue Lion is easy mode, I guess.
but again, like, just to touch on Hunk again and his like character.
Oh, so great.
You know, like he's hugging he's the first one who, once they come together as Voltron at the end of the second episode, he's hugging everybody, saying,
They're so
"I feel
cute.
like we're brothers, and yeah, we're all tired, but
And then
I
we
really
were like elbow
He
nudge
got
to Pidge.
Keith to smile.
exactly."
That doesn't
Also,
happen
can we talk
very
about his
often.
cooking skills? What?
Like, I don't even know what you made, but I want it.
No, I had no idea what he was talking about, and I was
Someone
like,
just make up a recipe that looks like that. I
we
want it.
can't even call the food fight in episode 2 a food fight because it was a green sludge.
so it was,
Well,
pretty much
there
like
were
double.
cubes-
It was
there
like
were
double
cubes-
dare.
there were cubes
back
of
in Nickelodeon.
things.
Yeah.
There were cubes of things too.
There were
on the
cubes?
table.
I missed that completely.
They were on the table, but I don't think they were ever used.
But you let Hunk get into the
Set
kitchen,
dressing.
and suddenly it looks like food again.
And I was like, what's happening?
I don't know what he did, but it looks like food.
Apparently, what Keith and Lance were just like, and I was like, wow.
I did
this
like her.
looks better than space goo and whatever Shuckle Nightmare Koran made.
I did really
so
like.
gross.
It smells disgusting.
That's how you know it's healthy.
That's
And I
how
was
you
like-
know it's.
I was like, have you been talking to my mother, Coran? Because that's not cool. That's not cool. That's the lines that she pulls on me. Not cool, buddy.
Well, and I loved the airplane thing trying to feed Shiro.
Here
Shiro
comes
just
the lion.
no, just no.
super cute.
Like, and that's every single one of my wash buttons. Boom, done. All right,
Oh, it
we're
was
good.
beautiful. Lance wanted to knit them a sweater. I do not remember that, but
Yeah, no,
but it
yeah.
I missed that
adorable.
completely.
Going to see the Erusians, and you know, Hunk was like, "They're so cute," and Lance's like, "Let me get them a sweater," and Keith goes, "I don't trust them."
I know he was
Like, no,
so
talk first, stab
I feel
later.
like that says a lot about all of their characters, and also, does Lance know how to knit?
I hope
with
so.
yes.
I'm gonna say if he's got a face regiment, I'm gonna assume that he might be able to knit.
I was gonna say, do we want to?
Presumably, he has a huge family.
Yeah,
If that
Yeah.
one thing that he was thinking about is
Oh my
any
God, that
indication.
picture was
didn't-
awesome.
Yeah, we didn't touch on it because we were so focused on Pidge and, you know,
For good reason.
what was, you know, what the big secret there. But you know, each of these guys has something very interesting.
What
you know,
was
as you pointed out,
Keith's?
Shiro.
His shack in the desert.
Was the shack in the desert because he has
you just
nothing else.
angry,
Have you
Katie.
just lived there all your life? Is that where you met Shiro? Can you just not let?
She's
I
mad
need a
because it doesn't
backstory.
explain anything.
No, it doesn't. I was very
I'm
confused.
even madder about hunks because it's just food, and I'm like, we had an opportunity,
We did.
and you had to go back on the joke. Why?
Definitely wanted
But
that
the thing
spam
that we
musubi,
do
though.
get insight into is that, yeah, there were a lot of people in that family
Oh,
photo.
so
There were like a
adorable.
dozen of
Yeah.
all different ages.
Even though Lance is a dummy, and I will admit that because he's a dummy, but I love that he will probably be the most family oriented probably on that whole ship. Besides, obviously Pidge, but that's a whole different type of family oriented.
And again, it's one of those things where maybe they're not all his siblings. Maybe he has cousins and aunts and uncles, or maybe it is a lot of siblings and his parents and things like that. So.
I would love to see it. I'd love at some point to see his family, and I want a flashback episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree.
For everybody, not
just Shiro and Pidge.
not just Shiro and Pidge. Everyone gets a flashback.
You get a flashback. You get a flashback. Everybody gets a flashback.
Even for Princess Aurora, I would love to see more of, you know, what her home planet was like before Zarkon left it a smoldering
wreck.
So it became Mordor. That's pretty much how we
I
describe
mean,
it.
we get a vision of it. We get again future stuff. We get
talk
glimpses,
about it.
but
Katie, stop talking about it. But yeah, it would be really great to see for all of these characters.
Okay, you have to explain
the
that
shack is basically Keith's van down by the river.
Thank you, Andrew.
Oh God, Andrew, terrible. Oh God, I love that so much.
I wanted to be a Voltron Paladin too, because what I'm
God.
doing, being a motivational speaker and living in a van down by the river.
That's what I was thinking of. That's why I made me laugh. And yes,
Oh
I
my
agree with
God.
Allie. I think Lance should knit a hunk of sweater. I think it'd be adorable.
He just makes them all matching lion sweaters. It's great.
Oh my God, I want them to
Go
be lion
full-
faces.
just go
Oh,
full
they're
Weasley
sweaters.
on it.
They're
Just
super
go full
cute
Weasley.
lion
Oh,
faces.
little Christmas sweaters. That'd be adorable.
I would love that. I would squeeze.
And then the one other thing I want to talk about is we do finally get the full explanation of yeah, I hurt your brother, but it was to save his life.
Yeah,
Conveniently, I remembered.
because her dad had already been sent off
To
at that
a
point.
work camp.
Jeez. I was like,
With the
wow,
weaker
adult
prisoners.
stuff. Here we go.
All right, does this count as God winning it? Does that? We don't know. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That became a little too real for me, and like a little. I was like, whoa, you were bringing in some history that I was not.
And
ready
it's just
for.
one of those things, like, it's almost a throwaway line, but it's like, okay.
But, I mean-
the Galra have work camps. They send weaker prisoners to them, and
I mean, it is an evil empire.
it is.
But I mean, interesting thing is that, you know, in this flashback, Shiro cements himself as the new gladiatorial champion. And so it's like interesting. Did he keep his title for that entire time?
I don't know.
I think so.
I'm gonna assume so.
And I love the voice actor. I'm losing his name.
Josh Keaton.
Thank you, Josh Keaton. I keep pulling up other names. I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. That's really not right. He has gone into interviews saying that he has thoughts about what happened to Shiro during that year. And one of them is obviously that Galra messed with him because he has a different body type coming back than he did going in.
Yep.
He did not used to be a bodybuilder, and now it's like, did you live entirely on protein bars in hell?
yes.
Probably. Yeah, I saw protein bars and steroids crack, and I'm like, no, that's probably what happened.
Protein bars and the blood of his enemies.
There you go. That's what he was. That was what
And
he
the
was
occasional
basking in.
strawberry yoo-hoo. I think I killed Alexis.
Stop doing that. We need to get through this show.
This is how you know
Never
we
gonna be able to have strawberry you ever again.
This is how you know we record really late at night. Like, this happens.
I mean,
But the
thanks guys
other
for hanging
thing-
out with us this late.
Yeah, seriously. But the other thing is, we had that moment of most of us weren't fighters. We were just sent up against them as entertainment. We were cannon fodder. How long until they started doing that with Shiro? And sending other prisoners and cannon fodder against him. And at what point do you shut down because you can't handle that anymore? Like,
I
don't know.
that's what Josh Keaton thinks happened to Shiro. And that part of it is, it may not be the Galra messing with his memory. He may have just repressed a whole lot of innocent people
didn't even
that
think
he
about
had
that.
to kill.
That makes a lot of sense. Or if you want to just throw both of them in together.
Yeah.
do it.
A little column A, a little
bit
column
column
B.
B, like that's my theme apparently. But did I just rhyme that? That was weird. Anyway, so yeah, I was thinking around the same thing where it was kind of like, yeah, he has done so many terrible things that he's repressing it, or they have just completely mind controlled him and now he just does terrible things all the time.
Oh,
So-
yeah. There's a lot of theories that he's a sleeper agent, that he was specifically
yeah.
sent to Earth,
I am-
etc. But
I'm
100%.
riding that train. I totally think he's a sleeper
I
agent.
will
we're
hang out
gonna-
with you all aboard.
we're
Toot
going to
toot.
give ourselves some time covering the final episode to go into the more prominent theories and the ones we hold, because at that point we'll have all of the evidence in the series and can talk about it.
True.
Yeah, it's just, good lord, everything. And I definitely jumped with the, your brother and father would be proud of you, Katie. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, you were like,
Hang on.
Why is my favorite
Name
character
twin.
talking to me?
It's always weird to hear your name in a show that you watch.
It's super weird.
But that was just my favorite because I was watching that by myself with my dog in hand with some popcorn, and it was just like, yeah, and you know, I will keep your secret safe, Katie. And I was like, did Katie know about this? Did she freak out? She probably squeed somewhere. There must have been a squeak. Just I just hear it in the distance.
I had a moment. It was like, what?
No, it's always weird,
Oh.
especially when you talk about that show in a professional setting. There was definitely a character in The Walking Dead a couple seasons ago whose name was Megan, and
Yup.
so during the theories, I think Megan's gonna die. Why do you have to say it that way?
Yeah,
Guys!
there's a soap opera right now. I think it's General Hospital where there's an Alexis who's doing terrible things. So they're just like, oh man, Alexis is a terrible person. She keeps killing people, and I'm like, stop! I'm right here.
I've done no such thing.
I have been home, snuggling with my dog, I swear, and watching Voltron. I'm sorry.
I'm just
Maybe a
glad
little bit
that-
of Oron Host Club, okay?
I'm just glad that
Getting him
they're still
a lion
calling.
sweater.
I will find him a lion sweater. It will happen, and he will run around this building with a beautiful blue lion sweater.
Etsy.
Yes, that's exactly what it's going to be.
I'm just glad that they keep calling her Pidge, because otherwise this series would be a lot weirder to watch for me.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Like, yep, okay, that's a thing. All right.
It would be odd.
Name twins.
Oh, boy.
Okay, do we have any more thoughts on either episode? Because we're way over time. It's great.
Like I said, for a set of episodes that like had to hit certain story beats in terms of like we're learning how to function as a group and we're still laying
Team
groundwork
building.
for stuff. Again, this could have been like hastily thrown together. It could have been laborious to get through, and they still found ways to make it entertaining, engaging, funny, and heartfelt.
No,
It's
you go through all 5 stages of going through a great TV show and then it ending.
I mean, it's like with Prime. It's like, okay, we know this episode's going to be about this, but the way they execute that trope works really well.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of this. We had the pilot where we had to bring everyone together. We had the Trust Fall episode. We had the, here's the first big villain you really need to, but they were all so much fun. The animation is beautiful.
I love it
The
so
animation
much.
makes
So
me cry.
great.
It's glorious. I love it.
Voltron spinoff, Katie and Rover.
The Adventures of Katie and Rover.
I would love that so much.
What's that, Rover? Lance fell down the well?
Leave him. Serves him
And
right.
then you just see Space Dad, Katie. That'd be great.
Fine.
Go get him. Make sure you hit his head a couple times when he's coming up. Yeah, anyway. But
You're the only one with a grappling hook. I know. I'll get to it.
Fine, Dad.
Space Dad.
That's better.
That. But no,
This is the weird domestic AU I'm not sure I want.
yeah.
Anyway.
I'll leave it at that.
Anyway.
So yeah, what about them iTunes?
Yes, what about them iTunes? You people are wonderful human beings. Holy cow. So many reviews. 400 reviews. Divided by 100, we have 4.
I was gonna say.
Thank you so much to everyone who left a
look at
review.
that.
We adore you. And if you want to continue to support this after show, if you want to keep us on the air talking about giant robot lions, and if you'd like us to come back for season 2, which is a thing that's gonna exist later this year, then the best thing you can do to help us out, go on iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, let us know you love us. Because, fun story, the producers look at our reviews and our ratings on iTunes as a, I'm missing the word here.
Litmus test?
Litmus test works. No, I was looking for it, but I'll go with it.
As a gauge?
As a gauge, an indication as to how
I'm
a
like, I'm
show
already
is
one
doing.
of them, and I'm like, yes.
As to how a show is doing and whether they want to keep it around. So the more that you say, hey, we like this show, the more inclined the network is to keep this show. So your voice does matter. Thank you. And the other fun thing is if you leave a review, we read it on air because we adore you. So what do we have?
All right, we've got ... and they'll form the heartstrings. From Reflex123, my favorite AfterBuzz anime and cartoon reviewers take on my favorite breakout Netflix show of 2016. Couldn't be happier. And so happy to find that they love this remake, the lions and the pilot, as much as I do. Hopefully by the time this is live, they can discuss how awesome Allura is in the opening credits, steel-faced, waving arms, and firing ship lasers and all that cool stuff. I am your paladin. I'm bonding with you. And then, great start by A Fool ZZ1, aka Haywood. Like I said, I don't hate you, you're great on Twitter. These 4 ladies know their anime and you could hear the glee when it isn't, which isn't forced. And they give a great recap of the first episode.
I think I laughed the entire episode.
It's so great.
Oh, yeah.
Form great after show from VR Trooper.
I love you guys. Oh my God. These subject lines.
An after show about 5 lions making a giant robot. Sign me up. After watching the first episode, I was immediately hooked. Loved seeing/hearing Emma and Megan again after Sailor Moon Crystal went on break. And I love Katie and Alexis too. Seeing a bunch of women talk about Voltron is pretty awesome. Yeah, awesome. We'll go with awesome.
Autocorrect.
Great work, and BTW. Could you guys do a Power Rangers and or Super Sentai after show? Pretty please.
I love you, but no.
Oh, God.
That's a tall order.
I don't think we're ready.
God. If you want Power Rangers recaps, Linkara does them.
And he
season
does
by
them so
season,
well.
and they're very good. Do
God,
that.
that sounds great.
One more from our good friend Drummer Girl.
Hey.
456, love this show. Hey guys, it's Jade from Twitter. Thank you for introducing me to this show. It is amazing. Love watching you guys geek out about shows I love and being able to geek out with you. Thank you for being awesome.
Because you're
One
awesome.
of us. One of us.
Oh,
Welcome to Lion Hell.
We bake cookies. Or some weird alien dishes. I don't really know.
We need cookies.
Yeah.
We need to bring in green Jello at some point and just have fun. Anyway.
As long as it doesn't get out in the studio.
Thank you guys so much for writing in, for being wonderful human beings, for being in the hashtag. I have to say, Michael Rafferty making a comment about, I hope Shiro doesn't get his hand chopped off too late.
I was gonna say. I was like, what?
We're already one down. I mean,
I think
maybe
they
he
meant his
meant his other
actual.
Yeah.
They meant his actual
The
other
other
hand or
hand.
the actual like I don't know.
righty's already screwed. Can we keep lefty?
Nope.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yes, thank you for being in the hashtag. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you so much for your reviews. And thank you for watching. We love doing this, and we love that you love it, guys. Thank you so much. All right, I think that is all the time we have for tonight.
That
I
is
think our,
way
no,
more
it's-
than the time that we have. We are sorry.
Yes,
Sorry.
but that's all right. We regret nothing. Alexis, where can the people find you?
Oh boy, gotta get to run from all that. I've got abs to steal now. You can find me all over social media at atorres890. Because my life has been crazy, I've only filmed half of my Killing Joke review, and I'm seeing Suicide Squad tomorrow, so I'm doing both reviews separately. It's gonna be crazy, and I'm about to go into a rant in Harley Quinn history that I don't even want to get into right now. But it'll all be on
boy.
my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ps890.
And I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguan. That's TheMenguan. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for the movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out.
You can follow Emma Fife at Emma Fife, EMMAFYFFE. Those are all F's as in Frank, as opposed to any other letter that sounds like that. And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at Kiaxet. That's KIAXET. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. I've just started doing vlogs on YouTube, so if you got something you want me to talk about, go on, comment on the video, let me know. It'll be great.
Do them vlogs.
We are on the Steven Universe After Show, 10 p.m. on Mondays. We will be back talking about 8,000 hours worth of episodes at this point. It's wonderful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Thank you.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.